If you're wondering whether it's too late to start a garden in July, you haven't missed it. There's still so much you can grow right now, and some of it will have you putting garden food on the table all the way into fall. Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 of the easiest things to plant this month, plus a couple of bonus things, and how to keep the whole thing simple and enjoyable. I'm in Zone 8A in upstate South Carolina, so I'm right in the middle of summer heat right now, like most of you are too. My first frost date falls around late October to mid-November, and later in this video I'm going to show you how to find yours and use it to get food from your garden all the way into fall. If you've been wanting to start a garden but haven't gotten around to it yet, beans are where I would start, and July is actually a wonderful time to plant them. They germinate incredibly fast in warm soil this time of year, and they push up through the ground in just a few days. That moment seriously never gets old, and if you have kids, this is the plant to start with because you don't have to wait very long to see it grow fast. What I love about planting beans in July specifically is that lots of varieties go from seed to harvest in just 50 to 60 days, which means you could be picking beans by late August or September. I have both pole beans and bush beans growing in my raised bed right now, and I planted rattlesnake beans that I saved a couple of years ago, and those are going to grow up these tall cages that I have here in my raised bed. And then I also have jade bush beans because someone told me about those in the comments of my June video, so I had to give them a try. These are going to stay lower and more compact than the pole beans. So if you get tired of harvesting beans towards the end of your season because you're going to be harvesting lots of them, and you let them simply dry on the plants, you can harvest those all at once and then save them for things like chili and soup when the weather gets cold. Cucumbers are one of those plants that make us feel way more capable than we expected to feel, and I love that about them. They grow really quickly in the summertime heat. They're as easy to grow as beans, and the flavor of a homegrown cucumber is so far beyond what you buy at the store that once you've grown one, you're going to want to grow them every single year. Here's something I want you to know about July specifically. If you already have cucumber plants growing and they're starting to look a little tired and worn out, that's completely normal, because intense peak summer heat and pest pressure can do that to a cucumber plant that's been in the ground for a while already. Last year, I planted a second round in July, and I had fresh cucumbers all the way into fall, well past when my first planting had given up. And if you haven't planted cucumbers at all, you haven't missed it. The soil is really warm right now, and they're going to grow quickly whether you plant seeds or you pick up a small transplant at the farmer's market or the garden center. Cucumbers do like to climb, so give them something to grow up, and they're going to use the vertical space instead of spreading out across the ground. This keeps the plants healthy as they're growing, while it saves space, and it also makes the whole plant look really beautiful as it grows. The variety I grow is Tasty Green. I have them growing right now, and they're my favorite kind that I've grown for years. They're known for being exceptionally crisp, sweet, and juicy with fewer seeds, and they're perfect for slicing into salads, on sandwiches, or just eating straight as a snack. And if you like summer squash, zucchini also grows fast in the summer heat, and you can have fresh squash by late August. And in my experience, the later planting tends to have less pest pressure than the spring one. I did this experiment a few years back, and I had less pests, and I had zucchini growing until the first frost killed the plants. And if you planted earlier and your plants are looking exhausted right now, like we talked about with the cucumber plants, why not plant another round if you want to keep eating squash through fall? Thinking about what you're actually going to be pulling out of the garden and putting on the table later in the season reminds me of something I want to share with you. If you've been watching gardening videos for a while but you still feel unsure of where to start, or you keep wondering how to build a garden that actually fits your life, I put together a free class that goes much deeper into that. In it, I share the biggest lesson I've learned after more than 20 years of growing food, why so many gardens become overwhelming, and the simple framework I now use to build a garden that works with my time, my space, and the food my family eats. It's completely free, and I'll put the link here and in the description below. Now let's keep going because there are a couple more summer crops I want to show you that are perfect to plant this month. Now I want to tell you about something I'm currently testing in my garden that I'm really excited about because so far it's working beautifully. Lettuce is one of those plants that most people think of as a spring or fall thing, and honestly that's mostly true because lettuce doesn't love the intense heat of the summer, and when temperatures climb it wants to bolt, which means it rushes towards producing seeds instead of tender leaves for us to eat, and then the flavor turns bitter. I do have methods I use for growing it in summer heat in raised beds, and I'll link that video here, but this year I'm trying something different. I'm using a GreenStalk vertical planter on my patio on the north side of my house where it gets some shade, and I planted slow bolt lettuce that's specifically bred to hold up longer in the heat, and so far I'm really excited about how well it's doing. The fact that I can move this planter in and out of the shade seems to have made all the difference so far. If you want to try summer lettuce, look specifically for slow bolt ones. I'll have suggestions for you in the description, along with the link to the GreenStalk, which I absolutely love so far. I think I'm addicted. After burning out in a much bigger garden, finding ways to make growing food easier and more enjoyable is something I'm really passionate about, and I want that for you too. Why not take the easier route if it fits your life better? I used to not let myself do that for some reason. Next, I think herbs might be the easiest win for you in this entire video, and there's something you can start harvesting the same day you plant them. If you haven't planted herbs yet this summer, your local garden center or farmer's market is still most likely going to have plenty of options right now. Basil especially loves the heat, so July is actually a great time to get it in the ground or in a container. But here's the thing about herbs that I want you to think about beyond just this season. Some herbs you plant once and they just keep coming back year after year completely on their own. Thyme, lemon balm, mint, chives, and lavender are a few examples that are long-term investments in your garden. You put them in once and they just keep giving. I grow a lot of my herbs in self-watering planters, and I have basil in my GreenStalk that I just showed you. And I have lemon balm, thyme, and even a toothache plant in my Vigo self-watering planter. I got the toothache plant at a Clemson garden sale because the flowers were pretty, but we haven't had any toothache, so we haven't gotten to test it for that yet, but it is still really fun to grow. After 20 years of growing things, it's the first time I've ever seen that plant. Anyways, the closer your herbs are to your kitchen, the more you're actually going to use them, so put them right outside your back door and suddenly dinner gets a lot better. Now I want to share something that I think is going to surprise you because a lot of people have no idea that this is even possible in July. So here's the thing about July that a lot of people don't realize, and this is one of the bonuses that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. July could be when your fall garden begins, and I know that sounds strange when it's this hot outside, but stay with me. Root veggies like carrots and beets need to be in the ground about 12 weeks before your first frost date to have enough time for harvesting. Here in Zone 8A, upstate South Carolina, I plant mine in mid-August, which means right now is when I start to think about it. If you're in a northern zone with an earlier frost date, you may need to get moving even sooner, like July. Here's the simple way to figure out your timing. Search your zip code plus first frost date, and that number will come right up. Count backwards 12 weeks from that date, and that's your planting window. I always add about 2 extra weeks to whatever the seed packet says for days to maturity, because as the days get shorter heading into fall, plants grow a little bit more slowly than they do in the spring and summer. Actually, much more slowly. One thing that helps with planting carrot and beet seeds in the middle of summer heat is keeping the soil moist and cool while they're trying to sprout. These seeds definitely like cooler soil a lot more than the beans and cucumber seeds we talked about earlier in this video. I've had good results laying a piece of cardboard or even a board over the rows of seeds after planting them, and then I check on them every other day or so, and then once I see them start to come up, I take the covering off. That makes a real difference in getting the seeds to sprout when it's this warm outside. I've always grown my root veggies like carrots and beets in my raised beds, but this year I'm thinking about trying them in a GreenStalk, and I'll keep you posted on that. And now for my favorite bonus of this entire video, zinnias and cosmos. I started growing both of them last year and they reseeded themselves. The flowers dropped their seeds right into the soil, and this spring they just came back on their own. I didn't do a single thing. I loved them so much that I just planted even more this year, and I have a lime-colored zinnia mix growing that I've never tried before, and I cannot wait to see what it's going to look like. If you plant them now, these are going to bloom all the way until the first frost, which means you're going to have flowers in your garden from now through fall. And the pollinators absolutely love them. Last fall, the most beautiful bees and butterflies were all over, and everything growing around them benefits from having those pollinators there. These are cut and come again zinnias, which means the more you cut, the more they grow new flowers. So last fall, I always had some in vases and outside in the garden. And this summer, goldfinches are all over these cosmos, eating the seeds every morning. And before I started growing these, I had never seen goldfinches in our yard before. They're so pretty and fun to watch. So to plant these, you just sprinkle the seeds around, water them in, and they're so easy when it's hot out because they're not picky about water needs. If there's one thing you plant from this entire video for yourself, let it be these. Everything I talked about today, beans, cucumbers and squash, lettuce, herbs, root vegetables for fall, and yes, zinnias and cosmos, can be grown in containers or raised beds. You don't need a huge garden, you just need a garden that's designed around your life. If you'd like some help figuring out what that could look like for your own space, I put together a free class that walks you through the framework I use to build gardens that actually fit real life. We'll talk about why so many gardens become overwhelming and how to create one that works with your time, your space, and the food your family actually eats. I'd love to have you join me, and you're going to find the link here and in the description below. And if you'd like more personalized help after that, I also offer one-on-one coaching, and I'll leave that link there as well. I'm putting my GreenStalk video here next because it's a great one to watch if you're looking for ways to grow more food in a small space this summer. I'll see you in the next one.